Welcome back to Donna and Friends. Up next, another great guest, the amazing Don Amon.
Wow.
I know, I'm excited.
I'm not doing any magic tricks.
Oh, well, ish.
I know.
You can't follow ish anyway,
You probably should have called him amazing. Or maybe you did.
Well, there's no telling what I called ish, but we'll move along.
And I can't tell you what I call Ish either.
Right.
Mr. Engel.
Now that we've got that clarified, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am just great. Well, I invited you in today just so that the viewers could learn a little bit about Don Amon.
Well, my name's Don Amon, and I'm running for City Commission. I've lived in Cushing for 20 years. I'm married to Melissa, who wasn't born in Cushing, but moved here at the age of 3, I think, maybe a little younger, and has lived here since. She's a product of Cushing Public Schools, and now she is an administrator in Cushing Public Schools. And I have 2 kids, Zach and Zane, and Zachary's in college at Rogers State in Claremore, and Zane is a sophomore at Cushing High School. So that's. Do you want to know anything else? I have 2 dogs.
And their names?
Sammy and Taffy. Sammy is Sammy was supposed to be a miniature dachshund. But if he's a miniature dachshund, I'd hate to see a full-grown dachshund because this dog is big. And then Taffy we rescued. She was a rescue dog, which we got out of Lenore Webb's place over here. And she was in the paper it said she was a dachshund, but I think she's a Chiweenie. I think she's
We just
part.
love those.
They're awesome. She's awesome.
They are awesome.
Part weenie dog, part Chihuahua. So we have Sammy and Taffy. Those are our 2 dogs. And then we have a couple of cats that we feed. They don't live in our house, but they live by our house, and we feed them.
And they know where to go.
Yeah, and that's Patches and Tiger. Tiger because he's striped like a tiger, and Patches because she's splotchy. And splotchy didn't sound like a very good name for a cat.
Splotchy sounds kind of,
sickly. Sickly cat.
Well, this is not your first time to run for commissioner.
No, this is my 3rd time. First time I ran, it was a long, long time ago. It was against Dr. Dietrich. Dr. Dietrich won that race. And the last time I ran, there were 5 of us, I think. And we happened to run up against Linda Smith. And that was the election that Jim Hogriff won. So,
Right.
And Jim's been a council commission member since. So.
Right. Don, do you belong to any organizations?
No, I used to be a Rotarian, but I had, to go to a Rotary meeting, we have them at lunchtime.
Yes.
And before, my schedule at school allowed me to, my prep hour was 5th hour, which is right after lunch, so I didn't have to race back to get to school, so I could stay for the meeting if the meeting went. Usually the meetings are over at 1, and I could leave and go back on Thursday afternoons, and my principal was aware of that. And but my schedule changed, and so when my schedule changed, that took me, I had to be back at school for 5th hour, so getting to a meeting and starting the meeting and then having to leave the meeting just became real hard, and I didn't think I was doing anybody any justice. However, I help the Rotarians as much as I can. Every year I do the Rotary radio auction.
Yes.
Which we do out
That's
there.
iconic.
Yeah, 28 years, I think.
Yeah.
So I do that. I've done that for the last 10 or 11 years. I still do that. I do other things if they ask me to do them. I try to help out as much as I can. I'm still a Rotarian at heart.
Right.
I just can't get to a meeting.
Right.
So that is other than that.
Comedy's maybe not an organization, but it's a sideline for
It is.
a little bit.
I belong to a troupe called Q-less out of Stillwater. We do most of our work at Town and Gown, but we've been kind of on a hiatus. Our leader left to go to Tulsa to open up a place called the Comedy Parlor, which is it's on Elgin and 2nd or 1st. It's right next to El Guapo.
Okay.
It's right on the corner of Elgin, and they do a lot of improv comedy, some stand-up comedy and things like that. It's a venue in the Blue Dome District, as they call that down there. And as a matter of fact, on the day that we are shooting this, I'm leaving here to go there and perform there. So I guess that's a club.
Right, in a
I've also done work at the community theater,
Right.
which we need to get up and running again.
Yes, we do.
And hopefully, as things progress past this school year, things may change in the lives of the Amons, and so we may have a little bit more time to maybe look into that and getting that back into shape.
Well, definitely, that would be great to see our community theater coming back into action. And I know there's been some talk of it, so we'll keep a fire under it if possible.
Yeah, I think
For sure.
But it was run by two women. I mean, Carol Cubbage and Debbie Webb did a lot of work there. And
Yes.
of course, Barbara Lear was one of the co-founders with
Right.
Carol Cubbage. It started it years ago when it was, here, there, and everywhere. I remember the first show I did for them was at the old Escott's, which is now Dollar
Oh,
General.
yes.
We did a show in there, and then I directed a show for them a couple of years later at the Big Four building.
Oh,
That's where
okay.
the little sanctuary off to the
Right.
right. We did Wait Until Dark there. Very, very intimate setting for Wait Until Dark, which can be a very intense play. And so I know we've done shows there, and then finally the theater got built, and it was running pretty good. But I mean, it's a lot of work.
It
And
is, and it takes a lot of dedication.
a lot of dedication, a lot of time, and when it's just two people and no one else is
You bet.
helping out, it gets a little rough. But I think, it's one of those things. It'll get back and it'll be rolling.
Well, I'm a theater mom, and my daughter graduated college with a theater major, and
So what's she doing now?
she works for AT&T, but she does her theater on the side.
There you go. There you go.
Don't all
all
good
do.
drama majors do
They
that?
They always
You gotta have a day job.
Always have something on the side. In fact, a buddy of mine lives in Baltimore. He was a New York actor for years, lived in New York. And then family circumstances, his mom got sick and he had to move back to Baltimore. And he wrote the other day on Facebook, he said, I realize now why I can't have a 9-to-5 job. I'm an artist. So I'm going to try that one with Melissa and see how far that goes. I can't have a 9-to-5.
I think my daughter tried that and figured out it didn't.
I'm an
It
artist.
didn't work. But you can do it, I think, later in life again. I think you can repeat it. You can do it when you're younger and get away with it somewhat till you have to get the job. And then I think as you get older, you can do it again.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, I think you definitely get 2 passes.
And I think what's really neat about the arts, especially in the acting world, is that it used to be, you had to go to New York or you had to go to Los Angeles.
Yes.
Now you can go anywhere.
Right.
Dallas is a big place where you can get work. Minnesota, even here in the great state of Oklahoma. I just saw the other day on the news they're trying to get some film to come in and work. And of course they did August Osage County.
Yes.
And then
Great.
just this past week, I was at Universal Studios in Orlando.
Fun.
And it was awesome. We went on the Twister attraction, and I have a picture of it on my camera, which I'm going to upload on Facebook. But when you walk into the Twister attraction, there's a big sign that says, "Welcome to Wakita." And so I had to go all the way to
Wow.
Florida
To go to
Wakita. How does that happen?
How does that happen? Well,
So-
it's that crazy Florida.
Wow.
You just never know with Florida.
And I tell you what, and it was one of those live attraction rides. It wasn't even really a ride. It was a live. All this stuff happens in front of you. You're at the drive-in. If you've seen the movie, you're at the drive-in movie theater, and then the big tornado comes in
Right.
behind the screen, and they actually simulate a tornado in the middle of this thing. And it wasn't. The tornadoes. They did the best they could with a tornado. But what really amazed me was that feeling prior to the tornado. Man, did they have that right?
Wow.
That heat.
Eerie, yeah.
And that feeling, and we're all standing on this ledge, and we're watching, and of course the ledge moves, and everything starts moving. But I was like, man, they got that right. I mean, the tornado, you do the best you can with, but it's because it was supposed to be an F5, and it really is just some smoke.
Well, I'm glad it wasn't an
Yes.
F5. You might not be here
Right.
today if it was
Right.
an F5. Well, Don, I want to ask you a question. If you were to be elected as commissioner for seat 5, what do you think would be your main focus?
My main focus would be on what can we do from here forward? How can we strike the iron while the iron is hot? Because right now we are living in a great time of prosperity in Cushing. We got a lot of things going on. What kind of infrastructure do we need to continue to have the amount of vehicles and stuff that are moving down our streets and into our different places? And then what can we do to move on from there so that we can keep this prosperity running? While I drove to Florida, I drove through a lot of different little towns. Google Maps took us through the oddest routes, and we weren't on major highways all the time. And so you would drive and you would see a town that was just under abject poverty, things falling down, and then not 6 miles later, you'd be in a booming place. Well, what makes that place different from that place? What made that big building shut down in that town and allowed this town to thrive? And I certainly want to try to find that for Cushing. I want to know how we can continue this level of prosperity, and whatever that means. Does that mean we need to hire an economic developer? What do we need to do to move that forward? And that's going to really be my main focus, plus taking care of whatever infrastructure issues we need.
Yes, because existing situations like that are also important, but it's also a great idea to be thinking about the future as well when we have to do that. Well, we're getting close to being out of time. And so I want to encourage everyone to get out and vote. The election is what day, Don?
Tuesday, April the 1st, all day, 7 to 7, I believe.
Yes.
Polls are open. Plus, if you have an absentee vote, I believe you can vote on Friday.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Red Dirt Media Group, we're going to set up in front of the City Hall, and we're going to bring live election results in. I know. Are you excited?
I am excited.
Me too. So till then, what do we need to do? We need to vote.
Vote Amen for City Commission, April 1st. And also, if you've been watching Donna and Friends, you never know who's going to show up next.
That's right. We'll see you next week.
You're watching RDMG TV.